Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are going to see some of the lumbar pathologies. As a physiotherapist, our most of our OPD is consist of low back pain patients, and because of the sedentary lifestyle, we are seeing many low back pain patients. The basic mantra is once the patient comes to you, you should think about the common condition first, simple conditions first. One of the commonest, what you can say, is a postural back pain or myofascial back pain, muscular back pain, which is most common because of the sedentary lifestyle. There can be many reasons for this type of back pain, but to summarize, we can mainly, there are in 70 to 80% cases, broadly two muscles which are most common factor for causing low back pain. And one of the important muscle is iliopsoas, and other important muscle is quadratus lumborum. So what are the clinical features which how you can differentiate the main cause is iliopsoas or a quadratus lumborum? So once a patient comes to you, if he is not having any radicular pain, okay, the first criteria is he should not have any radicular pain. Then most commonly what we see, whether the lumbar lordosis increase or not, or patient is in a list or not. So here with me is a skeleton, and you can see iliopsoas. Iliopsoas starts from the transverse process of your vertebra, lumbar vertebra, from L2, L3, L4, L5, and it goes anteriorly to the femur. So if the iliopsoas is tight, what it will cause? It will increase the lumbar lordosis, or there will be an increased anterior pelvic tilt. And the most easy test is you go from the iliac fossa towards the lumbar vertebra. This way, in a supine position, if patient is in supine, the knee flexed, from iliac crest, you go medially and obliquely towards the, try to reach towards the transverse process. Since the knee is flexed, abdomen is relaxed, so you can easily reach to the iliopsoas. There you can find tenderness as well as stiffness or sometimes tightness also. If your clinical skill or your hand skills are better, so you can feel there is a tenderness as well as tightness. Then second, there are many tests in supine line. You bend one knee and you will see there will be an increase lumbar lordosis. So iliopsoas is one of the major factor. If the patient comes with increased lumbar lordosis or anterior pelvic tilt. The second common muscle is quadratus lumborum. Quadratus lumborum is start from lateral. It's a lateral muscle. It has three fibers. It comes from sir, 1 minute. हाँ एडमिट तो कर ही रहा हूँ ना मैं, कंटिन्यू लोग आ रहे हैं जैसे वैसे। वो ऑटो एडमिट का ऑप्शन है, फिर भी करते रहना पड़ रहा है। तो अभी आवाज आ रही है बराबर उधर? हाँ, और विजिबल है, समझ में आ रहा है? Sorry guys. So the other muscle, what I say is quadratus lumborum. Quadratus lumborum, it has three fibers. It starts from the lower rib. It comes from L4, L5, L3, L4, L5 vertebra, and it attaches to the iliac crest. So if chordatus lumborum is tight, the patient may come with a list. If a patient comes with a list of slight scoliosis, always check for chordatus lumborum. The easy test is in the sideline position. Sideline position, just from between the 12th rib and the iliac crest, you go down towards the transverse process and just feel the tightness there. There will be a big trigger point. Simultaneously, the chordatus lumborum will cause a pain on the lateral aspect also. So the lateral thigh, IT band will be tight, gluteus medius, IT band, you will find even TFL, all muscles will be tight. So these are the in 70 to 80% patients, you will see two common conditions: either iliopsoas will be tight or your iliopsoas will be tight or your chordatus lumborum. The basic treatment, there will be n number of treatment. What we prefer is you should give more of releases than stretching. So you can use MFR. You might know many techniques for MFR also. So you can do while assessment also, what I told you, in supine position, when the patient ask the patients to bend the knees, and from ilios in the iliac fossa, from the iliac crest towards the lumbar vertebra, you reach there, try to make a loop and ask the patient to extend the knees. So this will release your iliopsoas. You can use other techniques also. And for chordatus lumborum, either you can use MAT in sideline position, where you can ask the person to do hip hiking with the upper body fixed to somewhere overhead, and ask the patient to do hip hike, and you resist the hip hiking. Simultaneously, you can release the trigger point. You can do MFR to iliac to rectus to chordatus lumborum, and also simultaneously treat the IT band also. Now the next common condition, if suppose patient comes with a radicular pain. So in radicular pain, two questions are very important. One, you ask the patient if the pain is increasing with the walking, the radiculopathy, the pain increases with walking and reduces with rest. If the pain is increasing with walking and reducing with the rest, there is a high chances the patient might be having a lateral disc, or if the pain is on both the sides and patient is complaining of claudication, then there can be a chances of spinal canal stenosis. But most of the sometimes you may see the patient will say, when I lie down in the night, there is a pain.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but can you please repeat?
See, the patients come with the low back pain along with some radiculopathy. Okay. So radicular pain, there can be two types of radicular pain, or you can say three conditions. One is typical, where you have a posterior aspect along the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerves come, and along the posterior aspect of your thigh and leg pain, if patient is complaining of radicular pain, and that too increases with walking and reduces at rest, then there is a chance of some lateral disc. If the patient is saying, I am having pain in both of my legs, the pain increases with walking and it slow down or reduces once I take rest and I sit down, then it's a claudication pain, and there is a chances of spinal canal stenosis or central disc. Getting my point? So the basic now, how to treat that pain. So best possible is either you can ask the person to go for an X-ray or an MRI. It's always safe looking at how aware the patients are and how easily they are trying to blame you. So some they are in favor of not to go for an MRI or X-ray. But I will recommend you, if the patient is having a radicular pain, severe radicular pain, along with and also look for their strength, grade 2 strength or muscular strength also, especially your grade 2. So if there is a pain along with some neural deficit or some weakness, then definitely you have to go for an MRI. And in MRI, if you see a significant sequestered disc or significant root compression, is better not to treat. But if you have a mild to moderate disc without any neural deficit, that means strength loss is not there, only radicular pain is there, then we can treat with many physiotherapy options. So you can have a simple McKenzie concept, you can treat with the Mulligan, you can treat with the Maitland also. There are simple decompression beds also available. But I will show you one or two chiropractic techniques. See, if the disc is coming, you can see the camera quality is little bit low, but so what happens whenever there is a one side disc, either right or left side disc, the problem is you will on X-ray you will see a kissing vertebra. Kissing vertebra is if I having a radicular pain on my left side, the right side transverse process will come closer, and the left side you will see the transverse process will be more apart. Okay, these two are closer, this will is apart. That means the pressure is generating from here and it is pushing the disc from here to outward. Getting my point? And simultaneously there is, along with the kissing vertebra, there will be some opposite direction rotation. The L4 will be suppose will be rotated to the right, then the L5 will be rotated to the left. This you can easily make it out in an AP X-ray. At least the kissing vertebra we can see easily on AP X-ray. Okay. Or in an MRI in axial plane, you can see the rotation also. Rotation of L4, L5 vertebra or whatever, wherever there is a disc, there will be a rotation on the opposite side. So simple technique is, if this is my right side, if both the transverse process are closer, so I cannot take them apart on my same side, right side. What I can do is I can push this downwards, the opposite side or the left side, superior vertebra down and inferior vertebra up. So technique will be a patient, we have to stand on the opposite side, palpate for the transverse vertebra and just slowly give a glide, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. As soon as you release the muscle, the fascia, and you have a joint play, and at the end just give a small thrust. In one go you won't get a complete correction, but this is just a modified Maitland technique. Instead of going AP glide, we are giving diagonally superior, inferior and superior to anterior glide. Okay, so it is a chiropractic technique, but I have modified it to the physiotherapy. Instead of giving thrust, we can give a inferior glide because the vertebra, the transverse process is superior. I can give a inferior glide, and since there is a rotation also, so it is superior and posterior. So I will give inferior and anterior movement. So grade 1, once the patient is comfortable and you are finding that there is a joint play, you can go for grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 also. Grade 4 is at the end, you just take the tissue slack, and at the end you give small thrust. This is very safe and very effective. But make sure you have given a proper muscle releases or proper myofascial release before. Then take the patients in the sideline position. We have corrected this vertebra, we have taken the supravertebra down. Now the rotation, I have to mobilize the spinous process. The upward, suppose upward spinous process is moved towards the right side. So my right side will be up and I will.
Hello. Sir. Sir, just a minute, sir. There are people waiting. So can you just let them in? Allow.
Yes.
Some people are waiting in the.
Yeah, I have allowed.
Okay, sir. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
So those who have just joined, we are trying to correct mild to moderate disc. On X-ray or MRI, you will see there will be two type of dysfunction. Suppose the disc is at L4, L5, so you will see a kissing vertebra on X-ray AP view, where the two transverse forces will be on one side will be apart, and two transverse forces on the opposite side at same level will come closer. So in technique 1 and prone position, what I will do, I will take the superior transverse forces inferior. So you have to stand on opposite side, go obliquely, just reach the upper transverse process, take a tissue select. Suppose if you are treating the L4, take tissue select from L3, reach the transverse forces, mobilize it, grade 1 mobilization, mobilize is from superior to inferior direction and little bit anterior direction. So it will be kind of a diagonal glide. From grade 1, then you can proceed to grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and if you are comfortable, you can apply a small thrust at the end. Now, the second position, the second dysfunction is, instead along with kissing vertebra, you will find the two vertebra will be rotated in opposite direction. So along with kissing vertebra, we have to correct the L4, L5 rotation also. Then you have a very big spinous process. The spinous process are thick and you have a quite grip. You can grip them properly. So take the patient in sideline position. In sideline position, L4, if it is rotated to the right side, I have to take the right vertebra to the neutral or towards the left side. So while standing, my pressure should be exactly vertical. Exact vertical, palpate the spinous process, reach the tip of spinous process, or you can add little bit of side flexion also. This lateral flexion, you can say side flexion. This will reduce the muscle tension on the spinous process. Now in this, you can again just take the tissue slack, mobilize it from right to left, exact vertical, right to left, and see at the end you can from grade 1 to move to the grade 2, take tissue barrier, reach grade 3, and at the end grade 4. Or if the patient is comfortable, you are confident, you can just apply a exact vertical thrust. In chiropractic, we'll take the patient in sideline and directly apply the thrust, but since in integrated concept, we are adding a more of mobilization route than the manipulation route. So in grade 1, proceed to 2, 3, and 4. Grade 5 is manipulation.
Hello. Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt. There are some people who are saying that they are unable to see the glides. So can you just shift the camera a little bit during the glides, or if you can raise the yeah, better, yeah.
Okay,
okay,
so
yeah,
I will just try to revise it. See, we are short of time. Suppose this is my L4 vertebra and this is L3 vertebra. If there is a chances of there is a disc on the, this is a posterior view, this is right side, this is a left side. So if the disc is left side, you will see a kissing vertebra on the right side. So kissing vertebra is what? These two transverse forces will come closer and these two transverse forces will be apart. So pressure from the left side is causing the disc to push on the right side. So the second will be the rotation. The rotation of L4 will be on the right side and L5 will be on the left side. So I have two dysfunction. I have to correct two problems. So one problem is of the kissing vertebra. The starting position will be in supine. In supine, I have to, if see, in supine, since I am treating on the right side, you have to be on the opposite side, left side of the patient, reach obliquely on the vertebra which is up, this vertebra, and I have to push it down. Since transverse processes are deep enough, you have to try to take the tissue slack from L3 to reach to the L4 transverse vertebra, clear the tissue slack, clear the soft tissue, reach the transverse process or a medullary process, and just start mobilizing superior to inferior. Superior to inferior. And since we are having an oblique approach, you can go little bit anterior also. So superior to inferior and posterior to anterior. This is to correct the kissing vertebra. Now second is the rotation. Rotation, your L4 has rotated to the right side, L5 to the left side. So for L4, take the patient on the right side. Stand exactly vertical, grip, hold with your hypothenar eminences the spinous process and start mobilizing the spinous process from right side to the neutral or right, and then take grade 1. If the patient is comfortable, you can go to for grade 2, and at the end grade 3. On second is better, on second day you go for grade 4 and grade 5. And for L5, change the patient's position, and now from here you are going from left to right. Rotation you have to correct on both the side, but the kissing vertebra you can just take the upward one on the down. Okay, hope this is clear for you. Now the third condition, we have seen the postural back pain or mechanical backache. Second, we have seen if the patient comes with mild to moderate disc. Now the third, which I told you, spinal canal stenosis. There could be many causes: central disc, there will be hypertrophy of ligaments, especially posterior longitudinal ligament, ligamentum flavum, or there can be an anterior listhesis or a retrolisthesis. Anterior listhesis can also lead to spinal canal stenosis. For this, you have to just rule out with an lateral X-ray. Ask the person to take lateral X-ray in flexion and extension. See how much play you have. If it's a very unstable, the movement is not good, then you just if the movement is not good, then if there is hyperlaxity, it's better not to treat. Okay, if pars fracture is there, better not to treat. But if the joint is not having much play, more instability, is not that much unstable, then we have 2-3 very good options. So the option number 1, in anterolisthesis, while palpation, if we are going from sacrum, from S1, if suppose L5 is anterior, you will get a sudden step downward. That is anterolisthesis of L5 over L4 or L5 over S1. So option number 1, you can use the cupping method or suction cup, apply on L4 and try to pump out the fascia of L4 posteriorly. So this will take the vertebra, take the tissue along with it, and hopefully in few settings you will see some correction in anterolisthesis. Second is, instead of mobilizing L5 anterior, you can mobilize S1 anterior. Okay, so that you are making both L5 and S1 anteriorly, and the canal space will increase. Getting my point? Because our aim is to increase the intervertebral canal space. So if one is anterior, one is posterior, to either make both anterior or take both posterior. because we want to increase the vertebral canal space. Now the third option is we can make a cup of your hand, keep it on L4, on L4, make a cup, your one part will, like your index finger will be on L4, and your little finger will be on S1, and the depression L5 should come here in this depression. In supine position with the patient's knee bent, and I am over the patient, my chest is on the patient's knee, my depression is on L5, and what you can use, you can mobilize this way, and at the end you can apply little thrust. So what I am taking is, instead of so I am mobilizing here L5 and S1. So all three will come in one line, and their chances are you will have more intervertebral, the interdiscal space, and the chances is, if the vertebral canal stenosis is not because of ligament hypertrophy, but because of the listhesis, then you will get a very excellent result. I have many patients who have definitely increased their walking distance. The best criteria to check your treatment is working or not is ask them to walk. So and ask them to monitor their walking distance. So if suppose today they are able to walk for 5 minutes or 4 minutes, they should improve every day from 4 to 6, 8, 10 to 15. If the patient is able to walk 30 minutes without pain, 20 to 30 minutes without pain, then you can avoid surgery. So these are the three more common conditions which we can have, and which we can have very good results with simple mobilization, and in case required some manipulations, and definitely along with them some exercises, muscle releases, and modality like laser, decompression bed if you have, and if you want to release the muscle, then matrix is also good. Along with, you can go for trigger point release, dry needling, cupping. The list is very big, but the core is best. The main thing is how you are going to diagnose them. The main success point is, if you can become a successful, if you know whom not to treat. And second month is think simple. If a patient comes directly, don't jump for bigger complications or bigger criteria or bigger pathologies. Simply think clinically. If no radicular pain, there may be a chances of postural mechanical back pain. If a radicular pain on one side, there can be chances of mild disc if there is no radiculopathy. A mild disc can also cause a radicular pain without any deficit. If there is significant deficit, go for an MRI. See if the compression is more enough, then ask the patient to take a neurosurgeon's opinion. And if there is just moderate disc without significant root compression, then you can apply mobilization, which I showed you. Third is, if there is pars fracture without instability. Pars fracture with instability is a case of surgery. The enterolisthesis without pars fracture but more laxity or hypermobility, then again it's a case of surgery. But there is pars fracture, but without unstable pars fracture, you can mobilize. Or without pars fracture, if there is mild to moderate laxity, then also you can treat the patient conservatively. Definitely you have to add on exercises after that. Hopefully I have add some knowledge in your clinical skill, and for better concepts or better techniques, there are many courses available, many techniques on YouTube also you can see. But believe me, manual therapy has excellent result because it can give structural changes. Main thing is, if you are able to realign your vertebral column, then only you can treat the patient permanently. I think I am going आई एम बियॉन्ड माई टाइम और इसमें भी शायद ये आ रहे हैं बिकॉज इसमें 40 मिनट्स का टाइम लिमिट दे आर शोइंग. So if you have any question, you can check me out. I can try to answer few ones. See, Hanaka has asked me in supine position how we can reach to give the glide. So in supine position, you cannot give the glide, but I've shown you the glide from superior to inferior, that was in prone, and the other one was in sideline position. So in supine, you cannot give glide. In supine, you can release the iliopsoas muscle. Posterior technique, Manisha is asking what was the posterior technique on stenosis. Posterior technique, that means, see, one technique is when the patient is in prone position. So you can grip the fascia and try to pull it out. That is tissue popping. Or you can apply a cup and suck that fascia upwards. Okay, or you can, if the L4 is anterior, you can take L5 also anterior. Simple epiglide on L5. Okay, and then one, hopefully I have answered your question. One, Jessica is asking, how do you work with listing? So listing, most of the time, if you see, if a patient is listed on one side, there are two conditions. If the patient is listed on the right side and having complaints on the right side. If the patient is listed on the right side but having complaints on the left side. So if the patient is listed on the right side, there is definitely, you will see quadratus lumborum tightness. You first release the quadratus lumborum and lateral kinetic chain. That means quadratus lumborum, then gluteus medius, and IT band, and TFL. You release them first, then look for the malalignment of the most prominent segment. Either it can be a sacrum or it can be some L3, L4. So simple, mobilize them first, simple epiglides, and give MET for quadratus lumborum. You will definitely get results. What will be done with the TB spine? So TB spine is contraindication, osteomyelitis is contraindication, fracture is contraindication. If there is having some cancer, that is also contraindication. Extreme case of osteoporosis is also contraindicated. So you have to look for the contraindication also before giving treatment. How to palpate iliopsoas? Best is in supine position with the hip knee flexed. You from the iliac fossa, take your fingers towards the lumbar vertebra. Okay, keep that position there and ask the person, and you resist the hip flexion. Ask the person to do hip flexion and you resist it. You can feel contraction in your finger of the iliopsoas. The iliopsoas contraction is easily palpatable. Any more questions, or we can conclude these sessions? Umer sir, should we conclude or? Please give me your feedback and show me how we can view. Jessica, I hope you understood how to palpate the iliopsoas and what sort of anfield is a red flag to the treatment. For iliopsoas, if and quadratus lumborum, too soft anfield is, I think, should not treat. But most other anfield is okay. You can treat all of them because it's a muscular anfield. It's not a bony anfield. Too soft anfield you should not treat, and if the range is suppose for knee joint, the bony anfield, then you have some you have to go for some X-rays, but otherwise we can then you can shift for other techniques. Instead of relying on one technique, then you can have more options. The grade 1, grade 2 mobilization we can always do, unless and until there is severe osteoporosis or instability. Lumbar and pelvis, they are very safe to mobilize. Even if osteoporosis are there, grade 1, grade 2 can be given. The problem comes with the manipulations. Thrust is always grade 5. Thrust is always grade 5. That required the skill. If you are having good skill, you can always go for thrust. But for grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, you know that's a Matlin classification, you can go. Grade 5 even is required more of expertise. So the radicular symptoms is the piriformis or PIBD or canal stenosis. Canal stenosis will most of the time will have a radiculopathy on both the sides. Piriformis, you won't get much of low back pain. That will be a gluteal pain, your pain in the gluteal area. Along with radicular, definitely the radiculopathy will be same. And for the disc, the radicular pain will increase. So for piriformis, you can have mostly you won't have low back pain. The disc will come with low back pain and a radiculopathy. I think more of the questions are over. So thank you so much. Please give me your suggestions, and next time we'll try to be more practical and more approach. I don't know how to use PowerPoint in this. So next time I will try to learn that also, and we'll come with more PowerPoint and videos. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing this knowledge with us. And I would like to thank everyone for taking out time and joining with us today. And hope that we'll come up with some new techniques also, inshallah, for other people. I know there is a limitation while doing webinar, but I think people will have at least a basic idea about manipulation. And as you said, sir, next time we would try to add some PPDs also so that things get clear.
Yes.
And yeah, so even thanks a lot. After fasting, also we came with you, came live and you shared this wonderful knowledge, sir.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
And my pleasure, sir. And thank you, everyone. We'll hope to see you tomorrow as well. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.